All right, y'all. So the episode opened up with the crew meeting up at the bar to turn up with one another, despite the situation that's going on with the shop and them not knowing what's going to be next for their future. So, as they're taking shots and everything, Charmaine notices that Ryan made an Instagram post, saying that he was looking for, new interns to hire and, how he has a new shop and everything. So pretty much they see that he done reopened Nine Mag and now he's looking for new employees or whatever. So, of course, everybody starts to get into their feelings and everything. And, Four, he steps up and he's like, well, y'all saying, y'all not fucking with Ryan and it's fuck him and all this other stuff. So why y'all mad? You know what I'm saying? And I felt like Four did have a point or whatever. Y'all saying it's fuck him or whatever, this, that, and third. So why are y'all mad? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, too, I also feel like Four said that because it's kind of like, well, I'm not going to say too much bad about Ryan because, if this shit don't work out with y'all, he might have a spot for me in his new place. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why I felt like Four kind of said that. But regardless of the fact, he still had a point in what he was saying. But anyways, so Charmaine, she's trying to explain her point or whatever. And it's just more of the same shit. He abandoned us and, loyalty this and disloyalty that and all this other bullshit. And, Nikki, she kind of jumped into it as well and was saying the same thing that Four was saying. Like, okay, like, why are y'all mad or whatever? So everybody's just going back and forth. Nobody's listening to Four. So Four decides to pull a Dawn move and throws a chair. Because y'all know that's some shit that Dawn ass would do. So yeah. Four throws a chair, and now that he got everybody attention or whatever, he's like, listen, what I'm trying to say here is, if we're not a part of Nine Mag no more, then let's not be or whatever. But we don't need to be sitting up here, keep on getting upset about the same shit over and over again, because that's not solving anything, and that's not helping us make moves or whatever. And I completely agree with what Four was saying. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, Lily, she's like, that's easy for you to say because you have clientele. I'm still struggling to build mines. And, Ryan done brought me in. He the one who brought me into the shop. And now, he's gone and everything. And, I don't have nothing. And, they had to, reassure Lily, like, listen, we are still a team. You know what I'm saying? We got you or whatever. We're not abandoning you or anything. We just got to figure out our next move or whatever. So, that, of course, made her feel better or whatever. And that was that. So then we have, Ashley and Dawn meeting up for breakfast or whatever to pretty much talk about their co-parenting situation. Ashley is still headstrong about, moving to Texas or whatever. But instead of taking both of the kids, she's just going to take the baby because she feels like, DJ, he's older, he goes to school and she don't want to snatch him out of school in the middle of the school year. And, all his friends is there in Chicago and everything. So she feels as though it would be better for him to stay with Dawn. You know what I'm saying? And Dawn, of course, he's not with that idea either. Because he feels like it's whack that she, she's trying to separate the kids and everything or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Ashley, she's like, listen, Dawn, I'm not trying to argue with you, but, what's the baby name? I think the baby name is Ashton. She was saying, Ashton, he's a baby. He needs his mom. DJ is a little bit older or whatever. He goes to school here or whatever. So it's better for him to stay with you and everything. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, just saying some of the, more of the same stuff that she's been saying about, her support and all this other stuff. So, Don decides he's not going to make too much of a fuss about it because, the kids are there and he doesn't want to argue in front of them. So, she's leaving to get into, the car or whatever, and I guess head off to the airport and everything, with the baby. And, she gives DJ a kiss before, she leaves. And DJ, of course, he starts to cry and everything. And I just felt so sad for him because, he wants both of his parents to be there. And I felt myself tearing up a little bit seeing him like that or whatever. And I'm like, now you see what you done did, Donald. Like, you see what you done caused your family, all this hurt and pain and agony. Look what you've done. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, like I said, I really felt, bad for him in that moment, seeing him be sad like that or whatever, because like I said, I know he wants both of his parents, around him and everything, because that's what he's been used to. But at the same time, Don can't keep on doing this same shit or whatever and thinking that, somebody's supposed to continue to stay with him and allow themselves to be treated like that. You know what I mean? But anyways, at the end of the day, Don have nobody to blame but himself for this shit. So anyways, we have Van. He's, working on, I'm sorry, I'm getting crossed up. Van is, he's working on some orders, from his clothing line or whatever, because his fashion show was a success. So he got a whole bunch of orders that he has to do and everything. Charmaine, she's there just being Charmaine, just trying to entertain or whatever, doing a whole bunch of nothing. Like she was doing in 9 Mag, you know what I'm saying? So then Four and Don, they show up because, they're like, Lily sent them a group message or whatever saying that she wants to have a meeting with them and everything, and that she wants to have the meeting at Van's place or whatever. So Van is like, well, I ain't know nothing about this or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Don is like, yeah, it's probably because you ain't checked your phone. You know what I'm saying? If you stay off Pornhub for 5 seconds and check the group message, you would have got it. So, they all wondering what Lily is up to, because they're not used to her, setting up meetings and being the one to take initiative to do stuff. So she shows up or whatever, and she brings up the tattoo convention that, the crew goes to every year. She's like, listen, we can, go there, raise money and everything, and open up a new shop or whatever. Not sure why they didn't think about this before, but I mean, hey, whatever. So, they, everybody, they're with the idea and everything. They think that it's a good idea. And Lily is saying, moving forward, instead of it being one boss, we all should be equal and everything. Van is explaining, well, that's how it was supposed to be before, but, somehow, things switched up or whatever. So, I don't know. How do y'all feel? Do you feel like that it should be a boss in place or whatever with this situation? Or do you feel like it's better for everybody to be equal and everything? Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. But anyway, so Don, he comes up with, the name, the name for their new shop or whatever. And he comes up with the name Loyal Inc. And I'm just kind of like, that sounds like some shit that's already around, you know what I'm saying? That just kind of sound like cliche or whatever, Loyal Inc. But whatever, they all like the name, so I mean, hey, make it do what it do. So, after they finish having that conversation, Lily pulls Charmaine to the side or whatever, and she's like, listen, I got something to tell you, in regards to your cousin. And she's like, Velvet, she showed up at my place, the other day, being on some real messy shit. And it's true that she was messing around with Terrence, and that, she showed me the text messages to prove it. And I actually have the text messages in my phone. So, she's showing Charmaine the text messages and everything. And Charmaine is just, shocked and, floored and appalled and everything. And she knows that she has to tell Danielle what's going on. So then we have Van. He's at his house or whatever with, Jen and his daughter. And, they're getting ready for dinner. And as they're getting ready for dinner, his daughter keeps on getting a whole bunch of text messages, back to back to back or whatever. And she moves her phone from the table real quick. And he's like, what's going on here? Why, who texting you like that, whatever? She's like, nobody and everything. And, he's like, put your phone back on the table. So she puts her phone back on the table. She gets another text message. And, he takes the phone or whatever. And she's like, Dad, that's my phone or whatever. And he's like, listen, until you pay the bill or whatever, until you turn 18, is my phone as far as I'm concerned, okay? So, he sees that, it's a boy texting her, and she got like a little heart and I think like a lock next to his name or whatever. And, he's like, so who is this boy and everything? And she's like, he's like kind of a friend or whatever. And he's like, what you mean kind of a friend? And she's like, I mean, Dad, I have a boyfriend. And he, of course, Van, he about to have a damn heart attack. Y'all know how he do, just over dramatic, way over the top and everything. And he's like, listen, Bree, don't do this to me right now. And she's like, Dad, it's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying how, you know, she's only 16 or whatever. And I'm like, well, Van, 16 is an okay age for her to be dating, you know what I'm saying? But I know, you know, he's a father or whatever. I completely understand, you know. But anyways, you know, even Jen is like, you know, it's not that serious, Van. And he's like, it ain't that serious to you, but I'm her father. And, you know, I got to protect y'all and all this other stuff. And he's like, well, you know, if y'all going on a date, I will be there bright and early, okay? So, anyways, then we have Charmaine and Danielle. Charmaine meets up. No, I'm sorry. Danielle comes over to Charmaine's place or whatever. Charmaine is moving because the lease is up at her apartment. And but she says that she already has another place lined up, so we ain't got to worry about her or whatever. So Charmaine brings up what happened at Van's fashion show the other day, you know, with Velvet popping up or whatever. And Danielle is like, yeah, like, you know, the bitch just came out of nowhere with her dusty weave and, you know, coming up to me like that or whatever. And, you know, she's sitting up here saying how Terrence said that nothing happened. And Charmaine is like, well, listen, you know I love you, right? You know, but she came by Lily's place the other day and showed Lily some text messages that looked like they were from Terrence. And, you know, I have the text messages and they're 5, you know, and it's 5 pages worth of text messages. So she shows Danielle the text messages and everything, and you know, and Charmaine, she also lets it be known that it looks like the last text message was from 2 weeks ago. So of course Danielle, she's shocked and she's appalled, and you know, she's pissed off, and she's gonna handle Terrence when she gets a chance or whatever, this, that, and the third. So then we have Van taking, you know, his daughter Bree on her date or whatever. And, you know, of course the date is at the movies. He shows up, you know, the date shows up and everything. Actually, her date is already there at the movie theater. And, you know, Van, he's, you know, inspecting him, looking at, you know, checking his face and checking his pockets and, you know, doing a full body search and all this other stuff or whatever. So Van decides to, you know, bring out his crew of dads. And in this crew of dads, we have Don being included in this group, considering the fact that he's a dad. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was a whole bunch of them too. I'm like, Lord, y'all trying to scare the boy, like beyond scared straight or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all about to scare that boy to death, because it was a lot of them there. You know what I'm saying? Trying to, you know, intimidate him or whatnot. So, you know, Van, of course, he's laying out some ground rules and everything. And, you know, he's also saying, like, you know, no physical contact, no booty rubbing, no holding hands or none of that stuff. And, you know, after he lays out the ground rules and everything, you know, Bree and her date, they go inside, and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that that was going to happen. And he's like, I mean, hey, it's cool, at least he's allowing me to date you or whatever. So, you know, he was a good sport about it. So, you know, that was cool. Because I was like, Lord, Van, you about to scare the boy to death. He might not even want to do this shit no more. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so then Danielle, she's at her apartment or whatever. Terrence, he comes in. I think he was coming in from work or whatever. He comes in and everything, and you know, she's sitting up here saying that she knows Terrence loves her or whatever, but he needs to act like it. And I have said this all the time. A man can love you, but he could also not love you enough to change. And granted, Terrence probably does love Danielle, considering that they've been together since they were like 15 years old. But it's obvious he don't love her enough to change if we, you know, 15 years later or whatever, and he's still doing the same bullshit that he was doing when y'all was teenagers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know, I don't know about all that. But anyways, you know, she's trying to make small talk with him or whatever, trying to, you know, butter him up before she drops the bomb on him that she knows, you know, about what he did. So, he's sitting there looking lost and everything, like, I don't know where you're going with this or whatever. And she, tells him about the text messages that Charmaine showed her from Velvet. So, she's going off on him, of course, saying, you got the bitch Velvet coming up to me at Vans Fashion Show or whatever, this, that, and the third. And, Terrence, he's like, okay, I did fuck up or whatever, but it was a mistake. That's what motherfuckers always say when they get caught. It was a mistake. I didn't mean to. Like, child, please. So, anyways, he says that they were texting or whatever, but he claims that, she didn't give him head. But the text messages suggest otherwise, okay? So, of course, Danielle, she don't believe him. She ain't going for that or whatever. He says, listen, we were on the beach or whatever. She got my number and everything, but that's it. We were just texting. We didn't do nothing else or whatever. I'm like, she probably gave you head right there on the damn beach. Okay, but anyways, Danielle, she's over it as of right now, because I don't know. I don't know if she's like back with him or whatnot, but in the meantime, as of right now, she's done with him. She puts her ring on the table or whatever, and she walks away. So then we have the tattoo convention. He ends up having to leave because he forgot something that was important. I guess his papers or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So he ends up leaving, and I felt like he kind of low-key did that shit on purpose, but whatever. So, Don, he's there for a while because, he's supposed to be, the piercer. But he has to leave because he has to get his son, from school and everything. So, that leaves them with just, Van and Lily. So, Charmaine and Danielle, they're trying to, recruit some people to get a tattoo or whatever. And as they're doing that, they see Ryan and sees that he has a new team and everything. They like, oh my God, are you serious right now? Like, really, Ryan? And, y'all know how they do. And I'm like, why is this shocking? Why did y'all not think that he was going to be here when he was with y'all? He was at the tattoo conventions every year. So why would y'all not sit up here and think that he wouldn't be there this year just because, y'all done all broke up and everything? Like, really? But anyways, so, C's from, Black Ink New York, he comes over to where Ryan is at, and he's like, yo, like, what happened to your old crew and everything? Like, I see them over there somewhere, like, what's going on? And Ryan, he's saying how they toxic and blah, 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 like he normally says. And, he's like, I took my name and created, a new team or whatever. And C's, he's like, do them motherfuckers know what's going on? And Ryan is like, nah, because I don't owe them nothing. You know what I'm saying? And C's is like, I done seen some shit like this before. Once you cross that line, it ain't no coming back or whatever. So, Danielle and Charmaine, they go to tell Van and Lily about Ryan or whatever. And I don't know why they would do that, because it's like, y'all already know how Van is and how volatile he is and everything, and how he gets so worked up like he about to pop a blood vessel. I don't even know why they would go over there and tell them that shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so of course Van does what he normally does. Throwing shit, kicking shit, or whatever. Lily, she decides to approach Ryan, and she expresses herself to him. She pulls him to the side or whatever, and he's like, look, I had to leave, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, well, I never disrespected you or whatever. The most that I said was fuck you because you left. And when I think about it, well, the only time that Lily probably has really, really, like, disrespected Ryan was when they was in Cabo and he had that cast on his arm and she just pushed him in the pool. And then even afterward, she still kind of acted like as if she didn't really have no regard for what she did. But other than that, like, I don't think Lily, I don't think she disrespected Ryan. You know what I'm saying? So I did understand where she was coming from and her stance on the situation. You know what I'm saying? And I did feel like it was kind of fucked up, like, he just kind of had no regard for her feelings and everything. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, motherfuckers just gotta deal with it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So then the rest of them, Charmaine, Danielle, and Van, they pop up or whatever. So Rachel, she comes back there as well and everything, and she's like, you know, the bitch is here or whatever. And Charmaine is like, girl, don't speak to me or whatever. And Rachel is like, listen, I don't give a fuck what he did. You know, this is my family, and if you don't fuck with him, I don't fuck with you. And Charmaine is like, okay, and that's cool or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And Van is just like, you know, I don't even got shit to say to you, dog. And, you know, Ryan is like, okay, cool, like, you ain't bothering me none, you know what I'm saying? And Van gonna have the nerve to talk about something, man, get the fuck about my face. I'm like, well, you came up in his face with the bullshit. Now you gonna tell him to get about your face or whatever. But anyway, so of course he walks away. He's pissed off and going off. And Charmaine is trying to tell Van not to act like that. He better than that and everything. And Van is going off per usual. And that pretty much was the episode, y'all. I felt like this episode wasn't really a whole lot. But, next week look like it's probably going to be good. But yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure y'all come back, and I'll see y'all in the next video. All right, y'all.